Hello and welcome to Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and let's get right to it. First up on the list, General Motors is in the news. A lot of people stateside here have been talking about how General Motors needed to clean house a little bit and get rid of some of the parts of the company that actually haven't been doing quite well. One of those parts of the company is Opel, the European manufacturer and the actual European arm of General Motors. Has not been doing well, mainly because of the economic downturn that's going on in the European markets, all over the world actually, that's still hitting the countries quite hard. Now the trick is a lot of people stateside think that General Motors, like I said, needs to get rid of this. Apparently that's not what General Motors thinks about it. General Motors has just done an investment of 4 billion euros, which is just about 5.2 million, or billion dollars I should say. Now, over the next 3 years, Opel is going to have an impressive lineup. 23 brand new models, also along with 13 brand new powertrains. So, General Motors putting their money where their mouth is and going to try to bring Opel up to where they think it needs to be and where, I guess, most people think it needs to be. Pretty impressive deal and good for General Motors, at least keeping up with the Opel brand overseas. Next up on the list, Google. We talked about Google and the autonomous car game. They're not manufacturing automobiles, but manufacturing the technology that it takes to make an automobile autonomous. Now, if you don't know what autonomous automobiles are, basically it's a bunch of cameras and sensors that allow the vehicle to be operated on its own without a driver. Now, this can be done, obviously, completely without a driver in theory, but obviously it could chauffeur you around a little bit. And I tell you what, in my job, I wouldn't mind that a bit. It would be pretty entertaining. Even though I think that my job, I think my bosses probably try to figure out something else for me to do with that time that I now have gained. But Google's been kind of one of the front runners. There have been a couple of real deal manufacturers that have actually been working on the technology as well. Volvo, Mercedes-Benz being some of the big dogs. But Google here stateside has really kind of gotten behind this big time and have gotten a lot of press over it. Now there's a company that apparently has been working with this as well on autonomous automobiles, but it hasn't been in the limelight, but now is apparently ready to be. It's Apple. Apple apparently has been working on this over the past couple of years and have gone great strides into coming in this. I think it's more along the lines that they didn't like all the press that Google was getting over this deal. They wanted to jump in on it as well. So we'll see what comes of this over the next several years and how soon maybe autonomous automobiles may come to a dealership near you maybe. Next up on the list, Nissan's in the news. Nissan actually wanting to build a brand new sports car, two-seater, two-door sports car to rival up alongside their already present sports car lineup. Now there's rumors floating about that this thing will make its debut at the Shanghai Motor Show, which will be coming up soon. Shanghai Motor Show may be in a little bit of trouble. There's a new strain of bird flu that's going on over in China, so it may not happen, even though at the taping of this program, the Chinese Grand Prix took place today, just outside Shanghai, and that went off, I think, without a hitch. Nobody, I think, got sick, so we'll wait and see what comes of this. But if it does come down, Nissan will make a debut, at least rumor-wise, on this automobile, which will be underneath the present 370Z and the Nissan GT-R. Now, if you ask my opinion on this deal, I think what they're trying to do, there's talk that this thing may have an electric drivetrain or a hybrid drivetrain. I think they're trying to get the bugs out of it before they adopt an electric or hybrid drivetrain to the higher-up sports cars on their list, namely the GT-R and the 370Z. But we'll wait and see what comes of this from the Shanghai Motor Show. Can't wait to see it. Next up on the list, how about this little vehicle? Dubai has apparently gone out and bought themselves an Aventador and made it into a squad car. Now, the people over in Dubai has actually come out and said, well, the amount of high-end supercars that are rolling around the rich country of Dubai, that they need an automobile like this to chase down people who are apparently doing bad things. Well, if you ask me and a lot of other people stateside, I think it's just there for looks. I think they're going to put it up, you know, in any sort of police function, or if they do one of those police balls to raise money, or come to think of it, I bet Dubai doesn't raise money for their police. Maybe they do. Heck, I don't know. But it's a pretty interesting piece of kit. You know, it's green and white and lights on the top, pretty slick. And I know that if it was behind me, I would just pull over immediately. We'll wait and see what comes of this car in the future. Next up on the list, the Lexus LFA. Probably one of my most favorite supercars on the planet, mainly for the noise this car makes. Well, Apparently, Lexus made 8 of these models to be sold in the China market. Well, there's that still ever-growing rift that's in between Chinese and Japanese going on as we speak. Well, only 2 of the automobiles have been sold into private hands. One of those cars ended up like this over the past week. Yes, this is a picture of one of the Chinese LFAs that have taken a pretty good shunt and is torn up pretty badly. Now, here's the real interesting part of this story. All of China, the entire country of China, has no facilities that could repair a car that's mainly made of carbon fiber. This vehicle apparently is too expensive to send back to Japan for Lexus or somebody else to fix in Japan, so the vehicle's sitting in a dealership lot. The dealership apparently has retained ownership of the automobile and is now going to either part it out or sell it as a whole. They're asking for about $300 grand for the automobile. Interesting setup that this car is apparently can't be fixed there, nor can it be sent out to be fixed. Weird situation. Don't know if the owner's actually going to go out and buy him another one of the other 8 LFAs that were made for the country. And last up on the list, well, I ran into this a couple of days ago. One of the people over here at Motor Cars, one of my roving people, actually came up and mentioned to me that this vehicle was in existence. I happened to be in the area a couple of days ago for work, and actually within a couple of blocks from the shop, had a couple of jobs there from where this particular automobile was sitting. So here's the interesting part of this story. I wandered this lot trying to find this car, figuring it was going to be in the front end of the lot. Well, apparently it was on the used part of their showroom floor, as the bigger dealers, the Porsche and the Mercedes and the BMW end, didn't want it in their lots. So I kind of walked in figuring this thing would be front and center, but it wasn't. It was tucked back in the corner. When I walked in through the front doors, one of the sales representatives actually jumped up, asked if he could assist me. I just walked right up to him and said, absolutely. There's a rumor floating around that there's a Mclaren around here. And he said, well, absolutely, sir, there is. I said, well, may I lay eyes on it? He says, absolutely, follow me. So we wandered back. I actually took a peek at this car. Actually ended up showing me 430 that they just took in as well. Apparently, this is the second Mclaren this dealership has actually sold as well. If you remember the Facebook page, if you like us over there, you've already seen pictures of this automobile when I posted a couple of days ago. Now, as we were walking out, there was a Camaro ZL1, one of the high end of the Camaros out now, that I walked right past, and I was like, is that a ZL1? He's like, yep, absolutely is. He went on a little bit about it, and I said, it's kind of amazing. I didn't even see the car coming in. He said, well, that's what a Mclaren will do to you. My first opportunity to see the MP4-12C, at least in the flesh, so a pretty neat piece of kit. As far as me, probably one of the most sexier supercars on the planet going right now. And if you want to, you can jump on over to the Facebook page and give us a like over there, and you can see all the goofy stuff, especially the automotive porn that we put up every day. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the new shows as soon as they're out. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this week's Motor Cars Enthusiast. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.